What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 252. We are here to talk about a lot of games today. Diablo, Street Fighter, Xbox Showcase, Ubisoft Showcase, Summer Games Fest. And Travis and I can finally talk about our Diablo reviews as well, which is nice that we've been holding for weeks now. So should be a good show. We're looking forward to it. As always, I am your host, Ainsley Bowden, joined by this cast of characters you see in front of you here. To my right, left, both. Sure. Mr. Rodriguez, how we doing this morning?
Yep, I'm good. Next week, I know you're going to announce some stuff, but I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna unmute myself during the intro and sing it as we go on live. I don't know if I can actually hit the button, but I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I've been wanting to do it for 251 episodes here, and
Hoeg's in control, so Hoeg, keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't go rogue on you. Yeah. You know,
I'm just gonna go.
I'm wondering what the lyrics were to the song.
Yeah, he says he's gonna sing it, and I'm like, okay, yeah. Sure.
I'm gonna beatbox with it.
Mr. HoegLaw himself, how we doing, man?
I am doing A-okay. We just did our second episode of Lawyers and Dragons on my channel yesterday, so that's proceeding. Another fun one, so go check that out if you're interested. And we're trying to do that up a little bit more content-wise this year with shorts and recaps, so you can watch 2 hours every single week to make sure that you're up to speed. So
cool.
Check out all that content. Otherwise, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. It's been a heck of a week of video games.
Sure has. And last but not least, the man with the tie, as always. And you got the Cult of Lamb behind you. I just noticed.
I do.
He's new. He hasn't always been there.
Yes, my fiance has a lot of fun with the set on occasion. She's got lots of video games to play like that. So.
Nice. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. McClunky, everyone, and a happy Sunday to everyone. So good, man. Okay. I'm good. I did a review this week. I got more reviews coming up, and I also spent some time this week interviewing a whole bunch of people for like real journalism stuff. I wrote a really long report about what's going on in the Tears of the Kingdom speedrunning community, and that story will be going live tomorrow. I interviewed a bunch of people, and I just wrote about what they're up to, and it's super interesting stuff. It's got drama, it's got adventure, it's got lifelong friendships forged. It's very cool, and I'm pretty proud of that piece. Actually, I worked hard on it. So
good. I was, when you said you've done a lot of journalism and writing a big article, I was about to say, oh, you're growing up, and then you said Tears of Kingdom speedrunning, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's as journalistic as I get. I know a lot of people. I don't consider myself a gaming journalist. I'm a critic, and so sometimes I moonlight as a reporter. I don't know. I still balk at the word journalist because I write about video games. So
fair. I can imagine. I'm looking forward to the article now that you mention it, because I didn't know that, but I can imagine like in the speedrunning community who take that stuff very seriously, by the way, if you're not aware. And Tears of the Kingdom, I can imagine what goes on behind the scenes. That's probably pretty funny.
Yes, I'm very excited. I will probably tweet that one out because I'm pretty proud of it. Irregularly proud of it. Usually I try to hide all my work.
Try to hide it. You're not doing a very good job, being that you're on IGN with like hundreds of millions of views. So I don't think that. Yeah.
Look at my Twitter following. I'm doing great. I'm incognito, baby. Nobody knows who I
am. So a couple of house cleaning items. So next week I'm going to be in LA. So these guys were going to co-broadcast the Xbox Showcase live and push the show back a couple hours. But a couple other engagements I've got to take care of now. So they're just going to be normal time next week. I just won't be here in person. I'm going to try, if I can, because I don't know exactly where I'll be when this show goes live. I'll probably be either in line or getting ready to go into the theater. I'm going to try and join from my phone and see if I can give you guys a live look at the theater. Probably not even allowed to do that, so we'll see what happens. But we'll see. either way, Hoeg is in control next week. He's going to try and keep a handle on Dan singing. Be careful. That sounds dangerous. And you can deal with Travis. You got that under control.
Yeah.
Even handicapped as he is, Hoeg gets to retain the control over admin, and I think that is really a statement against Dan and I more than anything. It's trust him at the wheel. Half of his body is at like maybe 20%, operating power, and
you stop that.
That's more trustworthy than me. I don't know. I'm offended, but also kind of impressed with myself. I'm proud of my accomplishment because it takes a lot to lose that much trust in your character.
You've worked hard at it. I mean,
I really have. I think it's a testament. I see, Dad. See? I did it.
I can disappoint other people as well, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to know
that one. As we're starting the show this morning, bunch of new subs this week. A lot of awesome feedback on the Diablo 4 content we've put out. Obviously, I'll talk about here shortly. But as we speak, we are 40 subs or less away from 20,000 on the season gaming side. So if you hang out with us every week, or you just want to learn more about what we do over here on the geeky gaming side, and you're not sub to us, I would ask, do us a favor, will you? And help us out a little bit over there. It'd be awesome to hit 20K today or tomorrow, sometime soon, before go to LA to cover the stuff live out there. And with that, we can finally move on to what we're currently playing, which includes Diablo 4, which, as expected, both during the review period and since early access release on Thursday, has completely taken over my life. I haven't slept much at all. I'm very tired. All I've been doing is playing Diablo 4. It's a bit ridiculous, honestly. So, Travis, you want to start with kind of I know we played together during the review period, but your review, what you scored it, and kind of high-level thoughts on the game itself?
First of all, I just want to say that I love that when you find a game that you enjoy and you talk about your life while playing it, it sounds like somebody you loved has been kidnapped. You talk about, no sleep, and your life has been turned upside down, and I'm just like, Jesus, is this a game release, or is Ains, organizing search parties? I'm very concerned about this guy. Let's talk about Diablo 4. It is a very, very good game. It's a very good ARPG. Basically, the headline of my review was that it doesn't try anything new, and that's kind of the biggest problem with the game. But everything else is amazing. All the stuff that it does try, it does extremely well. The end game is quite possibly the best day one end game I've ever seen in any game, which is crazy. It's extremely in depth and well thought out and very addictive to play. The campaign is a bit of a bore most of the time. It's got a pretty strong act one. The second act is not without merit, and the sixth act is also not without merit, but there's a lot of filler in the middle that you kind of have to push through to get to that stuff. And I put 150 hours into it during the review period. I got one character to level 71, and then a bunch of all the other characters to level 35-ish, which you can do super quickly after you beat the campaign once. You can just boost your other characters really fast to high levels. And I dove really deep into the end game and had fun, and now I'm playing it again. I think I'm level 40 something. I've got to get to at least level 50 today because I'm writing some review guides, or not review guides, build guides for IGN, just to do some video content for people who are newer to the class building stuff. And man, it's a good game. Pretty impressed. They did it. Also, I just have to talk about this pet peeve of mine. Early access as a phrase to describe what Diablo 4 is currently in is possibly the worst phrase I've ever heard to describe it, because early access already has a meaning in the games industry, and it is not that you get early access to a game. It's like, Grounded was early access for 2 years while they finished the game. Like, that's what early access has meant. And also, it's a lie. It's not early access. If you don't pay $100, you're not getting early access. You're actually getting late access. So the word early access is just a marketing term to describe them giving people access to the game.
Sales tactic.
Yeah, it's a sales tactic, but like, the game is out. Nobody has early access. The people who played on Tuesday are getting late access. And I take issue with that phraseology. It's really bothering me for some reason with Diablo. Also, Diablo has quite possibly the worst implementation of early access, which is that if you, for example, are playing an Xbox and you have your console as your home Xbox, and you try to make somebody else play Diablo 4 on your Xbox, which is usually permissible, it'll let them log in. But then when they try to make a character in Diablo, it'll say, you do not have a license for this game, because although they have access to all of the games in your library, they don't have access to the early access pass in your library. So they can't play your version of the game in your household until Tuesday, because of the way the early access work is attached to your gamer tag, your profile. And it's like that on every platform, and it includes couch co-op. So if you try to get your friend to hop in on couch co-op right now, it'll be like, you don't have an early access pass, and it'll expect them to buy the $100 game to join you, which is nuts, bonkers. So I just have to say, like, this early access, which is a lie, period, is honestly putting a big damper, I think, on the game's launch. And I hope this practice dies. It won't, but it's really bothering me in this case.
No. That's funny, Travis, because they've been running the early access stuff for a long time. I think the closest you get to scam material is when Xbox and Game Pass say that you get a day one release of a title on their service, and something like Forza Horizon 5 has early access that's before that, and then the Game Pass only comes out on the day that it is officially released.
Unless you play for the upgrade.
Yeah, that's the closest I think it comes to really lying to the public. But
I have always hated it, and I still continue to hate it. Here's another thing that really bothers me about early access is sometimes outlets will agree to review a game, and the publisher will give us the game and say, the game comes out on this day, so the embargo is the day before. And then as the release approaches, somebody will find out, like usually somebody in the team notices this, hey, actually the game's coming out 4 days before our embargo for people who pay extra money. And so the publisher has actually tricked us into agreeing to not talk about the game until after the public can play it by like 3 days. Right. And then we'll just be like, wait a second, because we have a policy at IGN that, like, if your embargo is after the game comes out in any way, we do not agree to it, because we're not going to not talk about the game while it's already out, just so that we can get an early access copy, because that's just bullshit, right? Like, we should be able to talk about the game the second, or preferably before it's out, because consumers are making decisions. And so sometimes publishers will use the early access period to like silence outlets for a couple days and get the players to
pay for it.
And then the embargo will lift like after the game's out. And so we've had to like start to watch for that, because every time we find it, we go to the publisher and we go, hey, you can't do that. Like the embargo cannot be after the game is out. And they go, well, the game isn't out, it's early access. And I go, it's out, dude. That's a lie. It's out already. So yeah, I've hated this practice forever, but I think something about the way Diablo 4 implements it has really rubbed me especially the wrong way. And I'm hoping that it'll cause some sort of movement where people just say this is bullshit and stop doing it. But I really doubt that's going to happen. From what I could tell, this game is selling like gangbusters, and most people are buying the early access version.
And deservedly so. But yeah, the license issue was all over the place. They had PlayStation license issues with that platform on the day of release. Yep. They definitely had the license issue with the Xbox. I had that happen to me. I'm not on a shared account or anything like that. It just didn't let me in for about 10 tries on opening day. Now, nothing like Diablo 3, if everybody remembers how bad that was years and years ago. But it's still pretty annoying when you have paid the extra money for the premium edition, and then it tells you the warning is actually you don't have a valid license. It's like, come on, bro.
Our digital world. And apparently it was like a problem with some of the store, the way monetization was implemented, excuse me, because I remember, Dan, you said that, and I saw other people do this too. If you bought like anything from the store, even like a $2, $3 thing, whatever the lowest amount was, it kind of broke that hurdle, and then you could log in.
It wasn't necessarily Diablo though. I think it was more the platform, because you could go in and, from what I saw, a lot of people were doing was downloading like the PS Plus games or whatever, and then restarting it. Basically, like they would purchase them or add them to their library is what they were doing, or a free game or whatever. And it was across the system. So yeah, had I known that,
that's what I mean. It was actual license allocation problem on PSN. Like if you did something to break that, it was very strange. So, which is hilarious, right? Because if you think about all the testing they did for this game, and generally speaking, the servers have been excellent. They had a couple hiccups yesterday for, I think, a couple hours, but otherwise they've been excellent. But the one thing, and I was thinking about this for being like an application manager in real life, is the one thing they couldn't test on broad scale prior to release was the licensing through the stores, like the actual shop functionality.
Couldn't is an interesting word to use to describe them not testing it. They certainly could have.
How are you going to allow customers to pay access through PSN or Xbox Live prior to release?
Well, you can have the store live and simply not allow the purchases. They could have done testing. I think they hid that store very intentionally.
I think we're talking about different things. Ains is talking about the PlayStation Network store and the Xbox Live store.
Yeah, like the
I'm
game's
talking about
not
the
live.
shop in game.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying that the problem was on the actual not publisher, the platform holders licensing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So but that's because on PlayStation, when you click pay, right, it works differently than some of the other ones. It like loads the
So. That's what I'm saying.
But I feel like they could have tested that, right? They could have had the shop live and had some placeholder items, or maybe some items that were free during the beta and that you had to download just to test it. And to me, it feels like a really intentional choice that they completely removed that tab from all betas. And I should mention the review period, the review version was a separate app that didn't have the store at all. And
no, they just gave us a B-roll video of it, which is in my review. I show it, but like I even comment, like, clearly, I think actually my only negative on this game, because I adore this game and we can talk more about why, my biggest negative, and it's not even really a negative, but the monetization is really strong, right there. To your point, you've got this
aggressive.
Someone said in chat priority access, which sounds probably better than early access, but so you're paying for that. Then you have the Battle Pass, which actually doesn't start until Season 1 begins of their seasonal activities in mid-July, they said. So about 6 weeks post-launch. That's a paid Battle Pass for premium, like any other game. And they have an in-game store, and the store is not cheap, right, for cosmetics. So there is a lot of money being thrown around at this game, whereas something like Path of Exile is has a lot of monetization for cosmetics you can buy, but it's a free-to-play game. Right. So like there's a big difference between paying $100 for a game and then buying a battle pass and then buying store items for a free to play game where you can buy cosmetics.
I also think that they need a way to earn the premium items for people who are really dedicated to the game. A lot of games have that. Maybe not if you're free to play, but if you're a premium game, like even Destiny,
Rainbow Six does.
Destiny.
Well, they might, because they haven't showed They haven't. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Travis. They haven't shown the full battle pass yet, so they may have like you can earn currency through it.
Yeah, there currently isn't, but like even the scummiest of live service games usually have a way for you to earn premium currency or pay to, exorbitant in-game earnable currency to to buy some of that stuff. So I would hope that they'd have that.
You want me to care about it. If you just have a full-on firewall between your pay and non-pay, I tend to ignore the stuff that asks me for money. If you instead require 50,000 fight tickets or 600,000 dust or whatever, I'm at least paying attention to what I'm earning and checking in on the store from time to time. It's usually a good idea.
It's also a good idea because some people feel like, they're getting hit with the Twitter verification I paid $8 tag if they walk around wearing something cool, but then everybody else who's playing with them goes, I know you paid for that, bitch, and then that's like a real thing. And so if you create a way where people could pay for it by earning it in game, then they could just be like, oh no, totally, dude, I didn't pay for it at all, I earned it the hard way. So there's it gives you the ability to be a little,
just don't lie about it, who cares?
Well, that's the thing. But
how much have you
there's
bought, Ains?
There's a social stigma.
Honestly, shockingly, I haven't bought anything yet because the battle pass starts in a few weeks, and honestly, to their credit, there are a ton of amazing item looks in the game already.
Sure.
Like my barbarian that I'm playing right now is my main after release. Looks incredible. So like you don't.
And their
really
transmog is really
awesome,
really good.
Done.
Yeah,
I don't have to collect 600 different resources and transmute them into different ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Don says, and I'll make this point. He says Don Lionheart. What's up, Don? He says we let egregious microtransactions happen without deducting points. And my argument, I wonder how you feel in this, Travis, is that it didn't deduct any kind of score from my review. I called it out that we're going to have to talk more about the shop, and it looks very expensive, but it doesn't affect the game. You don't need any of that, right? It's just purely cosmetic if you want to look a certain way. And I don't think, in my opinion, that's not hurting the game. If you want to support the game more for some reason and you want to spend the money, it's there. You don't have to.
I'd argue aspects of it help the game. I mean, I'm looking forward to the battle pass being put in because I think it can give me more incentives to play than the seasons did in Diablo 3.
Agree.
Well, let me ask you guys this: you guys have seen the battle pass? I haven't really seen, or you've seen
the
like
battle
a video.
pass isn't in the game yet.
Right,
so
right. But didn't you guys see like
there's some early pictures in my review that they provided us.
Are they catered towards individual classes, or is it just a general battle pass?
It's general, and it gives you stuff for all classes.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I think that's what they're going for. I think the culture in Diablo has always been you have one of every character if you're playing with us in the seasons, and then the seasons also require you to roll a new character and then play through with the new character as a season.
And
so
I learned something crazy. The game director said on Twitter yesterday, which I hadn't thought about. So in Diablo 4 you have the Codex of Power, and you get all those powers. We were talking, Dan, yesterday about from all the dungeons, right, that you collect to build this Codex. When you roll a seasonal character, everything kind of retains in your account, but you don't have any of the powers. So you literally, your Codex of Power when you roll a seasonal character is empty. Whereas like if you beat the campaign and you roll a second character and use the skip campaign button, which you can do after you beat the game, you still have all your Codex of Power powers. So you can apply them to your new characters, but on seasonal you actually don't, which is kind of
that's interesting. But you do keep all of your like extra potions, and you get your 10 skill points right away. Yeah, all that stuff, which I think is huge because that's honestly the biggest thing that helps you level up when you roll a new character. Is if you have 10 skill points right away, you're just like, boom, let's get in there, let's do a dungeon. It's really cool. But to Don's point about the score not being affected by microtransactions, I actually would not describe Diablo's microtransactions as egregious because they're 100% cosmetic and they don't actually impact the game. I think that is a line we need to continue to defend as gamers, and when people cross it, our battlefronts, that sort of thing, we can
agree,
slap them down. But this game is essentially a very, very fun game that isn't really impacted at all by how you look. The only thing that starts to bother me about a purely cosmetic stores is when they keep all of the really cool looks out of the game, and that's where they've clearly spent all of their time and all their design. And then everybody who is on the free version, it's $100, guys. Free version of the game doesn't pay for it. Just looks like a bunch of hobos. But I don't think Diablo has that problem right now. So it really isn't that big of a problem. It just makes me roll my eyes. And by the way, a lot of live service games, as somebody who plays a lot of them, have way worse microtransaction systems. Destiny charges you for transmog, right? Like transmog in this game is so well implemented. It's one button. You can do it on every single thing.
It's understandable.
It's understandable.
Every transmog system I've ever seen, and this one is super
easy.
It's so
simple.
Yeah, it's easy. And like Destiny, you have to either do like a whole bunch of like quests, and then you cap out every season where you can't get more. So there's actually no way for you to do it for all the armor unless you're paying. And then it's brutal, dude. And that's on top of a game that charges you for season passes, big expansions, the main game, and has microtransactions in it, and also charges you for dungeons piecemeal. Like all the stuff they do is crazy. So Diablo 4 is nowhere near that. If they could just keep what they're at now, and that's as far as they go with it, I will be A, impressed, and B, surprised, because I don't think it's going to stay that way.
I love it, and I'm excited about the Battle Pass. I mean, the one thing that's interesting about that is, as you say, the concern that I would have is that you put all your coolest stuff only in the pay-to-play store or the Battle Pass. So at some level, they have to have cool stuff in there, but not like too cool that you say, oh, all of this stuff that has, I don't know, animations and ghost cartoons or whatever the hell they're going to add to their various armors are only in the ones that you pay for and not in the game itself. I think the game right now looks cool, but there's going to be a shift in what items are in the game when that Battle Pass launches. So that'll be interesting to see. I also think the store, and this doesn't work for them, it isn't very good at explaining what the heck you'd be buying. So it's expensive. I can see that. But then they just have a bunch of boxes and the previews aren't very good to what it is that you'd be actually getting on your character. So I think that their store implementation isn't great to get money in the door for them. I've not been interested in that store because they've tried to make it fancy. It's like a tarot card reader, but it's not very easy for me to understand what the hell I'd be buying.
If you click on one of those cards though, it'll bring you to a preview kind of stage, kind of like
but to Hoeg's point, I think you have to really understand the game at a pretty deep level to understand what some of those are. Like a lot of people don't really understand like what is a mount trophy or what is a
that kind of stuff. I have no idea.
A ghost great tombstone or whatever. And
I saw a couple people, couple questions. Sorry, Travis, I keep cutting you off. I don't mean to.
That's okay.
I saw a couple people ask around the store. So the store items, like say you buy the Barbarian package, which includes looks for every aspect of your armor, right? It in the game, it functions as a transmog option.
Right.
That's it. So people were asking like, well, can you turn them on and off? And can you do X, Y, and Z? Is it an item? It's none of that. It's just literally a skin.
Yeah.
And so when you go to like change your helmet in your transmog wardrobe, there'd be that option for your helmet look. That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
You can do
someone asked
buy it.
The other thing that I
stuff.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
The other thing I
think can you answer this then? Because Lucius asked in our chat, when you buy the store items and they're transmog, can you still adjust the color of them on the die look?
100%.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you can right when you buy them, it gives you the option just to apply it. Right out the bat, so you can just without having to go back to change and stuff like that. You can just do it right there. You can change the colors and you can do them individually. You can do them as a set.
Okay.
So I only bought one, but that's the only problem I have with the one I bought is that there's like a weird animation when you're running around because it's got like kind of like a cape or something on it, and it kind of flies like up in your face as you're running around. It's just kind of a weird animation glitch, but I was like, hey, you know what? I got the money. I'll just buy this because that's basically I'm not going to be one of those guys that plays like 18 different characters, and tries. I played the Necromancer since Diablo 2,
Casual.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, that's who I've always been. I've always loved the minion stuff.
Diablo is set up for multiple characters. I mean, like you share your currencies.
Yeah.
You share currencies, you share the favor stuff, like Travis said. So as you unlock stuff in the regions where you get skill points and extra potions, that all starts on all characters as well. And you have your stash, obviously. And when you, like you said, when you beat the campaign, it now allows you to skip the campaign for new characters. So when you start a second character after the campaign, if you want to, when you hit skip campaign and you go into the world, all the end game activities are already there. So like it's already all on the map.
And you already leveled up?
Yeah, no, you're not leveled up. You're level 1, but you can spend 10 skill points, jump into a dungeon, and then in 90 minutes get to level 40. Like it's like super quick. And then when you're like, and then you also get your horse, so you can just hop on that and go wherever the heck you want. And they give you the fast travel point to the Tree of Whispers, which is one of the end game activities.
All things very exciting when I one day end Act 1.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Yeah,
that is for sure.
Game is huge.
I honestly recommend pushing through the campaign as quickly as possible and ignoring all the side quests until you're done with the campaign. Honestly,
I like the campaign.
I know, but
like that's why I'm there.
Yeah, I guess the campaign is not worth the.
It's not that bad. Come on.
I was going to ask you guys this. You guys have played quite a bit of it.
It's not terrible.
A little bit.
You just said something about the side quests. Is it better to wait because you'll get better loot from those side quests later on, or is it?
Allow me to tell you about my extensive research into how side quests work in Diablo 4 because it is extremely confusing. First of all, you have a maximum capacity of 20 side quests.
Yes.
A feature I hate. A feature I hate. And You
meaning once you have 20 side quests in your quest log, you cannot accept any new ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean it's a problem if you're like pushing through the campaign and grabbing every side quest you can, which I hate that. Second of all, your XP and rewards are determined based on what level you are when you accept the side quest, which is crazy because I was grabbing side quests every which way, doing a bunch of stuff, and then going back and completing it and getting like level 2 XP. I was pissed. Okay,
but hold on, wait. So it's based on when you grab it, but the enemy level still levels up.
The enemy and the side quest level still level with you. But say you accepted a quest at 10, you go back and do it when you're 30, your rewards will be level 10.
That's correct. When you pick them up.
It's crazy. Yeah, basically my guess is that they're trying to get you to stop and smell the roses and, you know, the maximum side quests and all that. But I actually asked them about this in my interview because I was so annoyed by these things.
Yeah, we figured this out in the review period. We're like, wait, it does what?
Yeah.
Like
what? Yeah. Also the vendors, asked them about that. Like, why do vendors sell you garbage? Which actually I got a good answer on that one. Yeah, the way that side quests work to me is kind of unhinged, but it doesn't really matter because side quests are not what you spend your time doing when you beat the campaign. And yeah, you guys are probably playing the right way where you're going through at a snail's pace and doing all the side quests as you complete the campaign. That's probably the right way to do it, but it is the least inefficient way to do it. And by the end, when you beat the campaign, you're going to be like, damn, I probably should have saved all that stuff, because as soon as you unlock Tree of Whispers bounties, you can be like you could be getting double rewards for a lot of that stuff because you can do bounties while you're doing the quests. You can be on your horse so you can get to objectives faster and complete the side quests in like a third of the time. And like all the things that you lose by doing the side quests while you're going through the campaign, it's just not worth it at all. Like, it's just not.
The only thing I would say, and you're right, there's definitely more efficient ways, but like one thing I'm doing, because we've played 3 betas and the review, and we've started over for the 5th time, and that's not counting extra characters, right? But one thing I am doing on this playthrough, right, is I am stopping and smelling the roses. Like, I'm immersing myself in the world because I know I'm actually keeping everything, and I'm going to play this game for years to come, right? So I'm just taking my time.
It's a much better world than Diablo 3.
Yeah,
it is.
More solid.
Yeah.
Yes. So in that vein, like, you're absolutely right, Travis. Like, if you're someone who's looking at this mathematically, it is the least efficient way to do how probably a lot of people are playing it, like an open world RPG where you collect side quests and then you just do them intermittently. But if you don't care about just the most efficient grinding path, right, to get to a higher level or end game or whatever it is, you can still kind of enjoy yourself. The other thing you can do, and this is kind of like a little pro tip, if you will, is even if you've accepted, let's say you've accepted a side quest like 10 levels ago and it's just been sitting there and now you want to do it, you can go in the menu and you can hit X on Xbox. I don't know what it is on their platforms. You can abandon it, right? Abandoning it will remove it from your log, but then you can go right back to where you accepted it the first time, re-accept it, and it'll be at your current level. So that's another option for you. Someone asked a question. Does Diablo 4 play well on console? Very. It is incredibly well optimized. In fact, new PC, I was playing max everything on PC for my review. And I'm not lying to you, playing on the Series X right now, because I'm kind of vegging out on the couch, if you will, it damn near looks and feels the same. Other than some very high frame rate stuff, which you don't really notice in this game, it is super well optimized. So yes, play wherever you want to enjoy it.
So it can be done, is what you're saying. So, all right, good to know.
It's who was it? It was either Rod or Mike Yabar over at Blizzard said, I think it was Mike, and he gave a little insight, and he said this game has been worked on by a huge team, right, for 6 years. Sure. They've been working on this. And quite frankly, it shows, right? The game is huge. A lot of the systems in it are incredibly well optimized and polished. There's a lot of environmental storytelling in this game. To Hoeg's point, this world is much better than Diablo 3's. It's gorgeous. It runs well on everything. I mean, it's just, I absolutely adore it. This is almost... Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think we should probably get back to saying nice things about the game.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I think we've fallen prey to creating a what my editor calls a complaint ghetto, which is where you you put all the complaints together in one section, and then it leaves a really bad taste in the reader's mouth.
Yeah, so let's be clear.
We're
this
game kind of nitpicking a lot when
we're
the game
nitpicking the
is
small
overwhelmingly
things.
amazing.
Yeah. I honestly believe this always had the capacity, I should say, of being one of my favorite games ever, because it's just everything that checks off my boxes for a game, right? And it is way up there. Like, I play a lot of ARPGs. I've talked many times about my love of loot games. I have over 1,000 hours in Path of Exile. I have over 1,500 hours in Diablo 3. Played Diablo 1 and 2 for life. Torchlight, you name it. And Diablo 4 is almost out on day one, which I think is most impressive, because I wrote in my review, most ARPGs start as kind of like a shell and they expand over time. But on day one, this game is such a broad experience from an ARPG perspective, with so many systems at play that kind of supports casual players to a degree, but they also brought back a lot of the kind of deeper stuff that stat number nerds like me love, that more akin to like Diablo 2 than 3 was. 3 was a little more kind of a streamlined experience. So, but it somehow does all that while maintaining the action of 3, which I think was really good, right? So it's like this perfect kind of mix of the things I love about ARPGs, and just top to bottom, it's incredible.
It's
and Katie Cotton asked me, she said, are you... Sorry, Hoeg?
I said it's certainly very evocative of 2. I mean, you can tell that that's what they wanted to get back to.
A lot of inspiration. Yeah, for sure. And they've talked like... The Diablo community, if you're not aware, is kind of very weird in the sense of there's that hardcore piece of the community that swears that Diablo 2 is the greatest game of all time and no game will ever top it, and blah, blah, blah. Everything they've done since sucks. And, you have that kind of group that thinks that way. And it's very clear that they were not only inspired, very similar to the old school Halo guys. Yeah. So you have that kind of mentality out there, but you can tell that this game was heavily inspired by 2 in that direction. And I keep reminding people, this is launch. Like, they've been very clear that they're going to expand this game for years to come, right? And we don't know what it's going to look like long term, but I think that on day one, it's just incredible. Katie Cotton asked, she said, are you mad right now that you're having to stream this show and not play? No joke. Before the show, it was like half an hour before starting, and I was setting up, and I was like, do I have 15 minutes? I can quickly jump in and do something real fast before I log in.
It was funny. I just got into a town and I was like, I could squeeze in another 10 minutes. No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't. And off it went.
Yep.
It's amazing. I just, it's really neat. And to be honest with you, I think I do see some people, what I would caution against is if you're looking for a deeper ARPG and you're playing this and you're level 10, level 20, what have you, or pretty early, even level 30, it gets like, this game really doesn't come into its own in terms of like character builds and skill compounds and affixes and aspects until only starts in late 30s, early 40s in terms of level, and then broadens out once you get to the Paragon piece. So like, if you're early in the game and still kind of thinking, I feel kind of weak or squishy, or, I don't really know what I'm doing, just stick with it. It's a massive game. And the arc of power leveling is a little later in this game than some other ones that come on earlier.
Or if you are feeling like the campaign is hard to get through, it might be because your character was very clearly designed for endgame in mind, and they didn't put a thought into how it would feel to play it in the campaign, which is one of the critiques I have for pretty much all of the melee classes, actually, including Rogue. Even though Rogue is damn good, it's playing the campaign can be a bit of a slog at times.
Barbarian is tough to keep alive. There's no question.
Barbarian's tough to keep alive, even with their 50% damage.
I'll teach
resistance.
You guys. It's okay.
No, but here's the thing, Ains. You have to
guys.
admit, playing as a sorcerer, you can push through that campaign in like half the time.
But that's always the case.
I know, but that's still a problem.
I know, but I mean, they're glass cannons. I mean, that's what.
Yeah,
that's what sorcerer's always been.
Correct, but it still is interesting that some character classes don't really start feeling good until you get through the campaign, because it, like, for example, I'm probably not going to be a sorcerer main, but I'm playing the campaign on sorcerer because I want to get through the campaign quickly and efficiently, and it's way easier to do that. And then when I beat the campaign, I'm going to do my actual main, a rogue, and skip the campaign and then just jump into the end game with her. So I just kind of find it weird that I find a lot of people who are casuals to Diablo falling prey to this thing where they're like, it doesn't really feel good to be a druid. And I'm like, wait, the druid's one of the best endgame classes. It just kind of sucks.
It's definitely more specialized. Yeah, I agree with you. But again, it's like, I was having this conversation last night, and you guys can tell me what you think, but I think one of the things that people fall victim to with these games is, one, these games are meant to be played for a very long time, years, right? And I think people fall victim to wanting instant gratification and feeling strong and powerful very early in the game. And that's not really the way these games are designed in theory. It's okay that it'll take you dozens of hours if you want to play this type of game to get through the campaign and to slowly build up that power arc if you're a druid or barbarian or what have you. And I think some people are just like, I want to look up a build video that's going to make me powerful now. And it's not how these games work.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, but I think to the casual player, which half of the panel is, they have a very different experience that I think is. Aren't you guys casual Diablo games?
Well, I mean, I played a lot of seasons of Diablo 3.
Yeah, same.
I think that
was great.
I think that Diablo 4, playing the barbarian, I think if I were to analyze what's happening in the game, one of the things that I have a problem with is it doesn't appear to have a good enough alert for you're getting really bashed about the skull right this second. Like, it's just very fast. Like, you think you're doing fine. You glance over with the time that you have to check on your health, and then suddenly it's your ghost on the screen. I mean, it's very different to play a get in there and mix it up character than the necromancer, who I'm mostly decomposing people from afar, and it's much more survivable and almost to the point of being the opposite, where it's like I forget to check my health and that's when I die. But I just think that it's not balanced in a way that makes playing the barbarian super fun, at least where I am, and I'm in the 20s, right? So
exactly. I just think there's some like they clearly designed these classes to all feel really good at a certain point in the game, but the journey, the power journey,
like
to
I said,
get
it's
to
a longer journey.
It is for some. That's my problem with it, is that it's really imbalanced. For some, they feel good right away, and for some, it takes them a really long time to feel good. And I think that if you're just a person who's playing the campaign and doing the side quests, like as Hoeg said, the reason I said he was a casual is because he said the reason he plays is for the campaign. That's not most Diablo players, right? The campaign is the appetizer for most people. And so if he's going to do that, he's going to have a not great experience all the way until the end of what he cares about, and then his class is going to start feeling good. If I were making this game, I probably would have put more time into making the power climb for each class feel about equally as fun, because that's sort of the problem, right? Is that you don't feel powerful as you're leveling for many of these classes, and that to me is a bit of an issue for a certain segment of the player. For me, I'm going to burn through it with my sorcerer, and then the great thing is that Hoeg will never get to experience is that when you create a barbarian level 1 and skip the campaign because he chose it as his first character, when I create a barbarian, it's going to feel good right away because I'm going to get those 10 skill points at the start. I'm going to jump into a dungeon, level up 15 times in one dungeon.
Yeah, but you're talking again. You're back to talking the fastest way to get to somewhere. I'm talking about the way that feels the best in that class the fastest, because you can enjoy the journey, but if you're not really but getting to the fun, right? Because if you're not really enjoying
weekend, I've had fun all weekend. I'm just not sure the barbarian is.
It doesn't feel good to play the barbarian
built right all the time.
Yeah, that's my problem. The barbarian's built right, but it's built right at level 50 plus. It's not built right at 20 maybe. Yeah, that's my problem. Is that some classes just do better at feeling good the whole ride, and I wish that were true of just more classes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it might be.
But in these type of games, it's always going to be the difference between ranged and melee characters. I mean, that's just always the case.
That's true. But you got to also there's no builds.
Yes, it is.
No, because
Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Path of Exile, Torchlight, all the exact same
just because they haven't done it well doesn't mean it can't be done well. I think there are definitely things you can do to protect melee characters, give them abilities to move quickly and leap and that sort of stuff so that they have a bit more ability, and most importantly, give them damage resistance against close range enemies, which they do for the barbarian, but I would say while you're leveling, they don't really do it enough. And so I just think there's some stuff you could do to make it feel a little better, to Hoeg's point. And that's it. This is a nitpick because
you're back to nitpicking again.
That's what I do, bro. I'm a critic.
But you literally said, let's move on to talk about the things we love. And now you're going on a 10-minute rant about some small
You're
thing
right.
in the game.
Stop talking. You're right. I said you're right.
Well, I mean, the world is great. The graphics are great. And one of my favorite bits of the Barbarian is that they really do a good job of having impact to the animations when you're hitting them with your weapons. I mean, that is feeling good, but you also die a ton, and that's not feeling so good. And I could play better, I'm sure, but I do my best. And 15 deaths for the Barbarian equals 0 deaths for the Necromancer.
Yep. Necromancer feels good the whole time until you get to.
So I am playing Barb now. I played Druid for a review build. I am playing Barb now. I'm at 45 as of last night. It really started to come into its own, and I was telling friends and sending them clips of stuff, probably in the early 30s, I would say, to Travis's point. But I'm really, really enjoying it now. So I think that if I can, we'll talk offline, Hoeg. I think there's some things I can point out that maybe, I've learned along the way that I could share that may help a little bit. So, sorry, Dan, you were going to say something.
Don't they have? I mean, there's so many variations of builds. I mean, I've bought nothing with my gold except for respecking, basically. I'm about level 25, 26, and that's all I've done. I'm trying to find, especially with a Necromancer, you can go so many different ways. Trying to find that. Of course, I mean, we discussed this. This is what I played.
You just look like a Necromancer in real life. So
perfect. Yeah, I'm much fatter than probably a normal Necromancer.
Can you see him with the hat? You know how the Necromancers wear like those long hats, and I could see that on him really well. That would fit. With some skull.
I might have one in the closet. You never know, man. But yeah, I mean, I think it took me a while to figure out a build that suited me, and I think there's a lot of other options. Like there's everything. I like how they unlock everything based on that. It's a great game. I do have issues with if like a casual like me apparently. I'm
sorry, I thought you were.
That's fine. That's totally fine. No offense, Travis. That's fine.
I looked at you and I thought
casual. I literally have a shirt that says it, so it's fine. But I think it just takes a while. It takes a lot of testing for me, because I enjoy doing that kind of stuff too. Division 2 was kind of a big one for me, where it was just like trying to find, everything that fits together. I'm not the gear part of it right now, at least at my level, is just kind of throw in what's gonna. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. 3 numbers to the end.
Right. And that's basically at this point, because I haven't gotten anything that's game changing or that helps. It gives me any bonuses or anything like that.
I was mad at that, but you can't be running.
You don't get anything.
I mean, Ains, I get why you're upset because that's not how you do builds. But at their level, it doesn't really matter because they're going to be
right. Yeah, right now.
Well, I mean, you say just 3 numbers and don't look at the skills. It doesn't do anything. At the same time, you're saying I die a lot. It's like, there's probably a reason.
But I mean, I play the same way with the other character class.
Yeah.
Well, as we said, the other character class is going to kill things more quickly in that vein. It's easier. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't mean
better quicker.
The class. It doesn't mean it's the class's fault. The class is too squishy. It means you're probably not well optimized.
Well, I mean, I played all my ARPGs the same, which is essentially green numbers during the middle levels until you get to something that you can actually build around.
I don't think that's wrong, Ains. Like what he's saying, I get
mentally wrong, but
I get why you're saying it. But like everybody who plays ARPGs knows that your loot game doesn't really matter until you get higher level because you're going to replace all that stuff. And so they try to simplify it so that they don't spend a lot of time min-maxing when they're just going to throw all this stuff out. So I totally get that. The other thing that kind of makes the classes feel a little imbalanced during the campaign, by the way, is some of the classes get access to their abilities immediately, their special class abilities, like the Sorcerer and the Necromancer, who are some of the ones that feel better. And then other ones like the Druid get it way later. And as soon as they get it, they start feeling amazing. But it's like you have to wait till like Act 3, I think it is, on the Druid to get your spirit boons. It's like way too long.
It's level 15.
No, don't you get? But the mission, you have to unlock a mission that's in a different area, like the Barbarian.
Region, but you can go to it.
Yeah, you can go early. You can go to it early, but the enemies there are way stronger than you, and you'll get stomped if you do it. I think they're like level 25, and the barbarian is like level 20 area as well. Like they're kind of farther away, and so when you don't have access to those right away, like you do with the necromancer and the sorcerer, because it's literally area 1 for both of those, it kind of is like, I don't know. I get why they did it, and it's super cool. But I get what Hoeg is saying. I don't think he's making it like.
I love the game. The barbarian is very tricky to keep alive, and my UI complaint is that they probably need a little bit more of that red or the cracking of your health or something like that, just to alert you of you're on Uno for hits and things like that, because I think it just comes very fast when you're in the melee mode. They've
stuck with that orb of blood for all of the Diablo games, and I've always thought it was a really bad UI for health, and I think they can't put it down because of tradition, but they should. It's like a very bad way.
Look at some of the early designs. They tried to change it, and the community went nuts.
I know, but like, here's the thing: it's bad design. Like they should get rid of it. It's not a good idea, but the community is just like on principle. Like, no, that's Diablo. If I don't see my little blood bottle, then is it even Diablo? And I'm just like, guys, there's a million ways to do that better. It kills me.
And make sure make sure you can, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't by default it puts it on the bottom left of the screen, but you can recenter it. It's much better in the center. So if you haven't centered it, center it. Trust me.
I don't know about that, Ains, because that's
much
part
better of the center, because that's where your eyes are for your character.
It's better for monitoring, but then it's right in the middle of the screen, and it's a giant orb. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the UI is so bad on this thing. It should be a bar, and it should be at the very bottom or very top of the screen. It should be super easy to see, and also not a big giant ball. Like, it's just such a bad design. It kills me.
It's not.
I get that it's flavor.
The center of the map or the screen, though, isn't it?
No,
it's on the sides. Yeah, I changed that immediately. I was like, what the hell is this garbage? They're both right next to each other. This isn't Diablo. This is crazy.
How about this? Can we just agree there should be an option to change the UI to something modern and I don't know, good? Like in the menu, you should be able to.
I would love something to get rid of my character, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have an enemy bar above me.
Yeah. Please.
Something.
And then all the weirdos who insist on bad design for the sake of tradition can just keep it.
Sure,
that's fine.
Yeah, I love that. Let's do it. Everyone's happy.
Let's do it.
Play your choice.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that's a lot on Diablo. It is if you like ARPGs and you're a Diablo fan, I think it's fair to say that the vast majority of people are loving this game. I would say I have the only kind of broader complaint, which I knew would come, Travis. I don't know about you, but I see people saying like, early on, they're early in the game, and either the loot feels lackluster or kind of the story arc. And I just keep reminding people, like, this is a much bigger game than past ones, and the arc of it and the game world and stuff, like it's a long game. So like, just, I would be wary of that thinking, I'm 10, 15 hours in. Why isn't the game this? Why isn't the game this? Like, you are barely starting. It's just a huge game, and it was just clearly designed that way in a number of aspects, from your character building to your power curve to the loot building. All those things were designed with a longer tail than the 15-hour mark. So just keep that in mind, I would say.
Yep. I love the campaign story. I mean, again, for things that are evocative of Diablo 2, chasing after a demon, wandering the world it's
very inspired by it too. Yeah, and Lilith is awesome.
Must be early, huh?
To Travis's point, it sets it up very well, and there's some amazing scenes at the end, but the mid is kind of a lot of, to Travis's point, you're running around the world, which some people may love, but it does feel a little fillerish at times.
Getting caught in sandstorms and talking to random drunkards you've never met and wondering why certain demons are returning for seemingly no reason. There's a lot of
it's weird. It's cool.
Like I said, one day I'll be in Act 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
I'm level 45. And I only finished Act 1, I think, yesterday. So like, Lord. I'm soaking it in. Well, I've done a lot of dungeons, and that's why I'm leveling. You can't help but level when you start doing all the extra content like dungeons or strongholds and live events.
You're gonna over level
pretty quickly. Yeah.
I actually think one of the mistakes they made was making the Tree of Whispers locked behind the campaign, because I feel like it should be locked behind getting level 50 or something like that, or something like that, just because it's weird that the incentives are at odds with each other. It's like, hang out and enjoy the campaign, but I'm also level 50 and I'm starting to feel like there's nothing to do, and then push through the campaign to get to the end game so that you can actually start earning real rewards. It feels a little contradictory, because I empathize with like Hoeg and you, who want to do it slowly, but like, you guys are making a huge mistake, like in the long term. you guys are wasting so much power and loot potential.
This is like video games, right? You get to the end of a game and you're like, I guess I wasted those 40 hours. I wasted so much time. I played the game that I enjoyed, hopefully.
Yeah, see, we're back again. You're talking about time, and I'm saying
he's a very min-max oriented player.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just enjoying the world.
Normally, I'm not a min-max oriented player at all, but like Diablo 4 is so stark in its like incentivization to make you get through the campaign as quickly as possible. All I'll say is that the IGN Diablo Slack/Discord is separated into 2 groups, and they are named, and one is like the story peasants, and then the other one is the kings of skipping cutscenes. Those are the 2 groups.
Skips cutscenes.
Stop. The kings of skipping cutscenes.
They're paupers.
That's what I mean. They're like level 75 right now, so those guys are doing something right.
See, that's I don't know. I'm level 45, so I'm already further than I want to be, but I don't know. Everyone plays their own way. Play your own way.
They do. They really do. So Diablo has so many different types of players in it.
It does.
In its fandom. It's very funny. But yeah.
So the one thing I would say to Travis's point, just so you guys are aware of what the structure of the game, if you didn't read reviews or anything, just to end on this point, is once you beat the campaign, right? And they talked about this prior to launch. Once you beat the campaign, you get this dungeon that appears in the first city called the Capstone Dungeon, right? It's a level 50 dungeon, like on paper, and you have to conquer that. You can do it in a party, you can do it solo, whatever. You have to beat it. It's like a long dungeon, bunch of enemies, bunch of like mini bosses, like elites and stuff, right? And then it has a boss at the end. Once you beat that, you unlock the ability to go to World Tier 3, which is Nightmare. But what's very distinct, what Travis is referring to, is once you switch to Nightmare, new things appear on the map, new activities appear on the map, new loot appears, and it changes. Like, I like it because it feels like the game starts over, like it's a refreshing of everything that happens. But his point is that if you get to like level 50, 60, 70, and you're still playing the campaign, the progression curve kind of tails off, because to do any of that later progression, you have to move to World Tier 3. So it's at odds of one another between do I need to finish the campaign and then come back to some of the other stuff so I can continue to get new things that only appear in World Tier 3.
And you get punished because you're missing out on a ton of loot that you would just be getting passively, and huge dumps of XP to be getting passively by completing Tree of Whisper bounties, which you cannot get access to until you beat the campaign. And so there's just like my point is not that I'm a min-maxer who doesn't care about story and thinks everybody should do everything the most efficient way. I actually hate people who think like that, because games to me are about just having fun and exploring, and it's not always about doing the most efficient thing. The reason I say it about Diablo specifically is because Diablo designs a lot of its systems around endgame stuff, and if you haven't beaten the campaign, it like actively hurts you in like it makes the game feel worse, basically, is like the reason I'm criticizing it. But guys, I love this game. I give it a 9 out of 10. I love this game. I've only given 4 9s out of 10s in my entire time at IGN. I've given 0 10 out of 10s. I love this game. I just want to put that out there. It's just that I can't love something without criticizing it deeply. In fact, if I'm not criticizing your game, I probably don't love it enough. That's how I feel. If I have a few things to say.
Your fiance has got to just love it.
Oh man, she's in the ringer. Let me tell you, dude.
I love you so much. You suck.
Gosh, but can you please, cut your toenails?
I love you. I love you so much. I created this itemized list of 50 ways you could be even better.
Oh man, let's grab a couple super chats, and I have a giveaway winner to announce, and then we'll quickly talk about some other games as well. Dan, you got these. We got Mr. Don back in the house.
Yeah, Don with the $20 super chat. Speaking of subs, here's a pub. Service announcement. I thought it was a poem for a second.
Serve announcement.
Thanks a lot, Don. You cannot receive gift subs if you are using a YouTube brand account. Brand accounts are old YouTube accounts, like accounts manageable by multiple people. You've got to be using a Google account. I have no idea what any of that means, but thank you, Don, for the information. What does that mean, guys? Because you guys do all the YouTube stuff.
I don't
do any of it.
I'm not. Do you know what he means by a brand account or old YouTube accounts manageable by multiple people? You got to be using a Google account.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the difference there because I have multiple Google accounts. I have a brand account. So I'd have to play around with that. So I don't know exactly what you mean there, Don.
All right. But thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Don. Yeah.
Throw up what it means.
Again, throw it in the chat.
He got his public serve announced.
The pub.
So his pub.
Speaking of subs, here's a pub.
He got it out there.
Yeah,
maybe it's going to help somebody.
That's my new song for next week.
Don, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
All right.
What's that?
Big Afro Man? Yeah, I don't know.
Afro Man? Big
14.
Afro Man?
Yeah, I like it. Maybe it's big. Maybe somebody took that, it used
took the G.
We'll just go for it. Yeah, but thank you for the $5 super chat. On a quick side note, do you guys like the Mega Man Battle Network series? If not, I suggest you guys give it a try. Of course, Travis loves it. Thank you for getting weekly content.
Super underrated Mega Man games.
What is it? And I don't
they're Game Boy games that turn
RPG.
Yeah, they turn Mega Man into an RPG with a battle system that's like turn-based and strategic.
Cool.
And
I haven't played
they're really dope. They made a bunch of them, and I think you can play all of them in the remasters that Capcom recently came out with.
They put out a collection last month or 2 months ago.
Super underrated games. The first one's a little tough to get through, but they just piled on sequel after sequel after sequel, and so you can play them, and they're really addictive. They're actually some of my favorite Mega Man games, which is very controversial.
Okay. Very cool. By the way, thank you very much, Big Afro Man. Lucius clarified. He said this was to do with Google Plus. He said, for example, his account was an old YouTube account, and when Google Plus became a thing, it forced the account to be a brand account. So now he says he can't receive any memberships. That's really weird. Google's going to Google, I guess. Yep. Big Afro Man, thank you for the super chat. Appreciated. By the way, let me thank Sandra Ramirez for gifting 5 memberships over on the Hoeg channel. Vintage Willow, legend as well, gifting 5 memberships on both channels. Thank you very much. And shout out to Midnight Dreary as well, who gifted a membership on the Season Gaming channel. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So is anyone else but me, with all this Diablo time and talk, I actually did turn on a different game this week.
Street Fighter 6.
Gollum. I felt obligated to, which was Street Fighter 6, of course. Very looking forward to this game. Very excited about it. It's 92 meta as we speak. And I know our reviewer, big fighting game fan, Mr. Elu Spook, who is in our chat on the Season Gaming side, is absolutely adoring it. So I set up my character yesterday, joined the Season Gaming team, and checked out a couple fights real quick. It is stunningly gorgeous.
Let me say this so that Travis can continue to call me a casual. I got this game. I tried to play it the way that I'd played Street Fighter for years and years and years with the normal or classic controls, and my left hand was having none of it. And I went to the modern controls that essentially put special moves onto a button in a direction like a Smash Brothers, and was immediately much better able to play the game. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
I'm playing modern controls, and I can play Street Fighter 6 even with my left hand in its current state. So I very much appreciate that.
They have 3 settings, right? Don't they have 1 too?
Yes, they have something called dynamic, but I don't trust them to pick what I'm going to do. I don't know what that is exactly.
I don't think that's casual at all.
Yeah, no, I think that's great because I was talking to Cerebral Paul, who's big in the community. You know, we talk about accessibility a lot. Has cerebral palsy, and he struggles with a lot of certain movements like that and stuff. And he was complimenting that on the design as well.
It's very hard to get that precision. Like my hand is mostly back. I can play Diablo, but it's very hard to get that level of precision for especially the drive attacks where you have to double up on them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that much about the game. I only played it briefly. But it is doing extremely well. Seems that kind of the core fighting game community, right? Really, really loving it. It's great to see Street Fighter back and rocking. So very, very cool that released this week. And eventually, 5 years from now, when I'm done playing Diablo, I will put some time into Street Fighter 6 here. But I had to at least check it out yesterday. By the way, the character creator in the game is amazingly detailed. There are like hundreds of options. And I made a guy that looks very goofy like me, like an older fighter. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's got a lot more than certainly some entries in the series to have as options to play. So they've got this battle hub thing where you're essentially in an arcade, except that you can throw down with the other players in the arcade in the middle of it. And it's got a world tour mode and it's got arcade mode. So like if you're anything like me, you go and you play arcade mode with the character that you've selected a couple times. And then I've been kind of going through the various things that are available in the game. And it's interesting. It's a lot closer to maybe the NetherRealm Mortal Kombat side of things in terms of with volume of things to do. It's also very live servicey in that it's got these things called kudos points associated with given characters. You can go and you can earn those points and do dailies and weeklies to get tickets to buy things from their store. And it's just got a lot of things that are hooks to have you want to play the game that I think is nice. It's fighting games have always had a little bit of a weaker shelf life for me in terms of why am I playing this? What am I going to do with this? And it's nice to have those hooks. Those are obviously microtransaction hooks for the long term, but I think just like Diablo, it's good to have those things out there. And just like Diablo, Street Fighter 6 doesn't have their battle pass or store ready at launch either. So the games clearly aren't waiting for everything possible to be in there and ready. They're giving it a couple weeks before they start those seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really neat. It's very broad to your point. A lot of things in a fighting game that would extend the life of the game and kind of give you more ways to engage with it, which is really cool. Yeah. And the world tour mode and stuff, but you can still it's also got kind of the practice, right, where it shows you how to do certain things, which is great, like the tutorial side. It's got still got this kind of story mode for the characters if you want to play kind of classic way, and it's really well done. I'm looking forward to spending some more time with it when eventually, like I said, so get this addiction off of me here in months to come. What else you guys been playing? Anything good?
I wasn't joking. I've been playing Gollum.
Yeah, I know you have.
That's Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and Gollum.
So last week when we talked, you were somewhere in the 10-hour ballpark of Gollum, and you talked a little bit about it. How much more did you play this week? How further are you?
Let's call it 3 or 4.
Okay.
Any
better?
My biggest time sink outside of Diablo has primarily been board games this week, actually. So we
nice.
Need to work on dexterity.
Good.
Okay. But yeah, I think Gollum is okay. It's obviously not anywhere near the other games that came out this week, but I have not been dissatisfied with my time spent with Gollum.
Yeah, maybe that'll be like the studio's excuse. Listen, we launched right by Diablo 4. It would have been a crazy good hit.
This was a blockbuster, but
it was a blockbuster, but we really kind of screwed up the launch date. My bad. Yeah.
I like that. What did you just say, Hoeg? Damn, the line you just said about it. Like, I haven't been completely.
I'm not dissatisfied with my time.
That's going to be their box quote. The only box quote they have about Gollum. I'm not dissatisfied. HoegLaw.
I have a feeling I'm going to be dissatisfied about that one. I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh my God! Too funny.
You got to keep your expectations a little lower, Travis. But I don't mind.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we jump over to? Oh, you got something else to talk about?
I've just been playing Street Fighter 6 and it's great, and I'm also Destiny added fishing. But yeah,
you're fishing for the fish.
No, you get bait and then you fish in a fishing hole. It's pretty stupid.
That's in Destiny.
They're just gonna run every live service thing that they possibly can.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously. What, are they just throwing shit at the wall right now?
Pretty much. That's where we're at with that one. So not stoked about that. But yeah, the Street Fighter 6 is amazing, and also Tears of the Kingdom. My God, what a game! I know I'm late, but geez, what a game!
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is great.
It is amazing. Everybody should play that game.
I was playing it, but I knew with Diablo coming out that it was going to get overshadowed. So, I will get back to it eventually. I was enjoying my time with it, which coming from me says something. I really was enjoying it. The only thing, I don't know about you guys, and I know other people have felt this way, the only thing that gets to me when I switch to playing on the Switch or a Nintendo game is the damn control schemes. They always screw me up because I'm so used to things being very universal on most games.
Switch them inside the system. I have to every time. Like if you go inside, you switch like the X and Y or whatever it is to where it should be.
Tears of the Kingdom has, hold the right and then.
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah, like you have to jump with Y or jump with whatever the top button, and it's like, I can't switch that. No, you can't.
So. You can in the system settings. If you want
system
to.
settings, you like on the actual like core
on
Switch.
the Switch, on the console, you can go in and switch that stuff. I had to as well because it was rough.
I didn't realize that. Shows how often I use my Switch.
Tears of the Kingdom right into Diablo 4, though. I mean, like that's quite a sequence for.
And then Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Well, Street Fighter 6, I have played in between games essentially, so I haven't gotten as in-depthly into that one, but it seems good.
Yeah, I'm blown away.
Crazy time for releases, but honestly, I think no matter the nice thing about it, think about the games we're talking about, right? That have released this year. You talk Hogwarts, you talk Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, you talk Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo, Street Fighter, and upcoming Final Fantasy. Like the breadth of those games, right? And the styles, like depending on what you like in a video game, there's like something for everyone that's incredible right now, which is awesome.
Why you got to bring Final Fantasy into this, Ains?
Well, I keep my fingers crossed that it's going to be
good mood.
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good. We'll see. So let me announce we did a giveaway on the Season Gaming Twitter account, which blew up. We were giving away a copy of either Street Fighter 6, I almost said 4, Street Fighter 6 or Diablo 4, your choice, platform of choice. A lot of people retweeted it, a lot of popularity. So thank you all if you engaged in that giveaway. I had all the sheet this morning, ran the RNG, the old random number generator, and the winner is a Mr. Matt Burns. So funny enough, someone who's actually been in the community. That doesn't happen too often, actually, but been in the season gaming community for a while. So Matt, I don't know if he's here today or not, but I will reach out to him. If you are here, go ahead and chat. If not, I will reach out to you on Twitter and let you know that you won. But congratulations, Matt, and let me know if you're listening, whether you want Diablo or Street Fighter.
I never win. Never win those.
No, I said like tag friends, and someone tagged me. Like, I hope this helps my chances, and I was like, no. Like, what?
Hey, did we get any? I just lost my dog, kind of, and then.
You always get some people that are like, I can't afford to buy anything, and I'm like, dude, I use a random number generator online. That's how it picks because I'm not playing favorites with anyone. So it has picked. Many times in the past, it has picked people I have never spoken to in my life who are like somewhere else in the world. That's what it picks. This time
it's always me for some reason.
So it's always Travis. Yeah, right. So anyway, thank you for everyone who entered. Keep an eye. We got a lot of response to that, and we're going to get back to doing just more giveaways in general on the season gaming side. So just keep an eye over there. But thank you. All right, guys. So we're coming up on Showcase week, actually, which is, usually a fun time of year, right? So the first one kicking us off this week is Summer Games Fest, which is Thursday. It broadcasts live at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, which is 9 p.m. Central European Standard Time. So Keeley has only done a little bit of teasing. We know that Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be there. We know that Alan Wake 2 is going to be there. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think, like from an expectation standpoint. We joked last week, it's going to be a Keeley show, right? There's probably going to be ads and sponsorships and whatever else we see at the Video Game Awards. But if you're thinking kind of third party, which generally speaking this showcase is, if you're thinking third party, what are you hoping to see here? Anything that, like, any game that jumps out, any IP that you want to see pop up at Summer Games Fest? What's your expectations for this show?
Travis he's chomping. What do you want to see, Travis?
Champing, actually.
Travis might know more.
Champion.
Yeah, I do. I will recuse myself from this one. I know some stuff.
Oh,
Travis
I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
I tend to like Summer Game Fest more than the Game Awards as far as the Keeley.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to choose. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, you said Alan Wake 2 will be there. That's the one I'm most interested in for the rest of the year. So.
Oh, okay. That's like your most anticipated game.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Wake is one of my favorite games ever.
Right. So. Yeah, we talked about that. That's cool, man. I certainly hope that this lives up to Alan Wake 1 because one of the potential drawbacks you have when a franchise takes so long to get its sequel, whether it's movies, games, etc., is expectations start to rise, and you have people that have engaged with that IP in many different ways through the years and have come to love it for very specific reasons, right? So it has to try and tackle that. So I hope that Alan Wake 2 delivers. I'm still pretty surprised, and I'm sure there's reasons for it, of course, whether it's the engine or maybe it's single player narrative side. It's a little shorter. I don't know, but I'm still surprised that they're getting that game out this quickly.
Sam Lake, man, it's gonna be good.
I just like this quickly for 14 years, but I know what
you
mean.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
I think Remedy has a pretty good track record, not including Crossfire X. Holy crap! But
I would love to know the full story of what happened there.
I know
all the details.
Oh yeah, not all the details, but I mean we know generally what happened, which is that they were contracted, and I don't think I think they tried to polish off that turd as best they could, but. I did give the campaign a full 50% higher than the multiplayer in my score. I reviewed them separately.
4, did it?
I got a 3. 50% increase over the 2 that Crossfire X.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. That's huge.
It is pretty big.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's enormous. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
So Beast Mode is saying in the chat he thinks we'll see Death Stranding too.
Of course we will. That's 100%. I don't even know why. That's not even a guess. No offense, Beast Mode, but that's 100% happening. We're gonna get something from Kojima and Jeff.
Well, that'll be fun.
He'll say, "My good friend."
Yeah, my good friend. Yep.
I still think Death Stranding 2 is a weird project because I think Death Stranding 1 has one of the better, more well thought of endings in video games. Really, like that, it had a purpose. It got to the ending it wanted to get to, and then sequels. So,
yeah.
Travis's face while you were saying that was quite funny. Huh?
Yeah.
Did you not like the ending of Death Stranding?
He's froze.
Your camera's frozen, Travis. He's like, no, it's not.
No, not happened.
Good.
That was my full response in its entirety.
Oh man, well I know again we're split here because I never cared to play it. It just didn't interest me at all. I know Travis, you don't like it, but I know Dan loved it too. So
it's boring. It's a boring game.
I don't know that Travis got to the ending. That's one of the reasons I asked the question.
I did. It was a nonsensical, boring game.
I mean, that's mostly true.
I'll tell you the same thing I tell other people that ask you about Death Stranding, and that everything in Death Stranding, even the wild beginning that you see, has a purpose in the story and will make a certain amount of sense within the world rules that they set up by the end. It's not nonsense in Death Stranding.
No. So that I think in my review, I literally wrote, this is one of the only Kojima games that I actually could make sense of at the end. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, fine. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, I like the gameplay of that game, but I got to the point where I was like, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's I finished the game twice. I still don't understand anything that happened. With Death Stranding, I did. It was still weird and Kojima-y, but it was, at least I could make sense of it and I knew what was happening, and it kind of all came together, especially at the end. And to your point, I don't know what they're going to do here. This is going to be kind of a weird deal, but
it's where Kojima lived. So
yeah. They'll probably implement some new system.
Will I get reminded to drink Monster Energy though? Will that?
They took that out.
No, Red Bull.
How often?
Red Bull.
They did take it out. It was Monster Energy.
It was Monster.
Yeah, it was Monster. But they took it out. But that does not mean it will not be returning for the sequel. I mean, I'm excited to see what brands they.
I don't really criticize games for having brands in there because, as I just said, Alan Wake is one of my favorite games ever, and they're selling me batteries and Verizon packages all the time.
That's right. Yeah,
they're selling the thermos, a replica of the Alan Wake thermos you can buy right now. No joke.
I always take a shower.
I just start placing them around the woods.
You know what I'd like to see?
That does sound like something they would do in Michigan, though. That's not.
That does sound like
beyond the pale. I could see that for sure.
Let's go to a national park, put some thermoses out there, and watch the festivities.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Actually, Hoeg, you kind of look like you would make a good shadow monster. Like if I were, you know what I mean? Like I could see you with like an axe, kind of shambling through the woods, going, "Oh, I got you," and then they twitch around. And Alan Wake's good.
I love Alan Wake.
Travis saying you would look like a good shadow monster was not on my card today, but here we are.
Yeah, it's good. I can just see him. Maybe it's the hat. He's got like the same profile as like one of those woodland guys who becomes a horror, in the game. I'm
not wearing enough flannel, but yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter when you're covered in shadow. So like you have this silhouette of like a trucker who's ready to kill you while hanging out near a deer statue. I can see it.
That is the Alan Wake look.
That was the vibe we were going for, I think. We should have Hoeg on the show.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh man.
Dan, you said what do you want to see?
I would like to see a third party, the James Bond game from IO.
Oh, from IOI.
Don't know.
You want to see their next game? I never.
Go figure. I also just watched No Time to Die yesterday for some reason. It was just on Prime. So, and then I was like, oh man, they're still making that game.
I did not think that was very good. I was so excited for that movie. No, it was not that good.
Not great.
What movie?
No Time to Die.
The latest Bond. No Time to Die.
It was pretty.
Actually, bringing things together. Léa Seydoux, I think is her name. The person from Death Stranding, who played. What was her name? Hoeg. She
Fragile.
No, the one that jumps around.
She's fragile.
Fragile. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I missed
Fragile? No, not that one.
Fragile.
Oh yes,
Fragile. No, she's not fragile. She's fragile. Yeah.
She's fragile.
She's not fragile. She's really good at what she does. Oh, the name.
Yeah, she was in it.
I forgot. It's a Kojima game. None of their names.
Her name is Fragile.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see Bond or something to that effect.
That would be cool. I don't know. I'd be curious. We haven't heard anything about that.
No.
They've said it's progressing, which means nothing.
They're also working on an MMO, so. But
I'd like to see more of the Suikoden's.
That would be cool.
And Aiden.
That would definitely be cool. The HD kind of remaster. Yeah, remind me on that one, Hoeg. Is that Suikoden 1 and 2? Is it 1, 2, 3?
I think it's 1 and 2 is separate. I mean, they're not putting them together. There's a remake of Suikoden 1 and a remake of Suikoden 2.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
And then Aiden Chronicles is that spiritual successor game to the Suikoden.
Yes.
I'd love to see that some more.
The full one, yeah, because they did that like prequel
Rising.
kind of. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, 100 Heroes comes out this year, or is supposed to. We don't know.
Right. What about I know a couple people, Beast Mode and Jared said Hades 2. I think we'll see Hades 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a Hades 2.
Well, we know Hades 2 exists. We just haven't seen it.
Of course.
Since the announcement.
Game Awards, wasn't it announced?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Hades 2, we've got one of the most anticipated kind of, I won't say smaller games is the wrong word maybe, but Hollow Knight, Silk Song. So that's coming to Game Pass. So we don't know if that'll maybe be at the Xbox Showcase or maybe Summer Games Fest. We'll see. But I have to imagine that's going to show up here this weekend. Say it again.
Silk Song was announced eons ago. It seems.
It was.
Yeah. So we got Silk Song, Sea of Stars. All these games that Dan is not going to recognize because he hates indie games.
No, actually, I like Silk Song. Or I'm looking forward to Silk Song because I made it halfway through Hollow Knight. So
really,
that was pretty good. I did pretty
good.
You can make it through. If you can make it
games.
Yeah, if you can make it through Hollow Knight, Dan, you can make it through more games than you think. Not that it's extremely hard,
then I
but
got mad. Then I got angry. So I was like, no, that's enough of that. Good. I'm good. Same with Hades. I played like 3 hours, and I was like, I really want to punch myself in the face. So I'm good.
In Hades?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't stand it.
Not his type of game.
Not even close. Nope. Sure, we'll see Oxenfree 2. What about Judas? Isn't that the Ken Levine or
Judas is a good call out? Ken Levine's new IP. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that. I don't know.
That would be cool to see. I hadn't even thought about that game since it was announced. Good shout.
Yeah, me neither.
Is it Ghost Ship Games? What's the name of his studio?
Am
I mixing that up with someone else?
No, sounds probably right. Something weird. It's going to be super pretentious, I'm sure.
He was on Colin Moriarty had him on Sacred Symbols last week, which is the first time I've seen Ken Levine in a very long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he tweets like once every 2 months or something like that. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what he does.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I'm hoping, we've got Xbox and Ubisoft to talk about, which automatically, there's a bunch of big IPs we'll talk about there. So I was trying to think like what we may see at Summer Games Fest that's different, right, from a third-party perspective. So I'm kind of curious to see what shows up. But I hope a few surprises. I think Jeff said he has a couple kind of announcements, right? Big surprises or new things. So
cool. Games getting release dates that are coming out sooner than you think.
Good. So 2023 is going to be even more ridiculous. You sounded like a dog doing something.
Yeah, that was really
unsavory.
Hyperventilating. I had something leaked to me. Somebody called me.
You're so excited about it. You're like a little.
I'm very excited.
Travis, there is a private chat button right over here on the right hand side. You just hit that. It'll be gone. It'll be gone in an hour.
I have leaks.
Oh, man.
Dylan calls out a big one, of course, for me, which is Elden Ring expansion, Shadows of the Erd Tree. So if we get to see more of that anywhere, I will be obviously extremely happy. But good God. Oh, we also know that Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, is going to be at Summer's Games Fest. They announced that this week. CD Projekt Red did. So we'll see what that looks like because, as we've said, right, Cyberpunk's been cleaned up. Phantom Liberty is new gen and PC only.
Is that the free DLC?
It's not free.
No.
Well, I thought we got a free one.
No. You got your free stuff. You got like a jacket in your closet and you got like some other stuff. You're done.
I thought we get a free one. What do you mean? You thought they were going to add a gigantic 3-year expansion for free?
Damn it. When I bought the Cyberpunk Xbox and I thought it said with the game you get the first DLC for free. I was almost certain about that. But the first
DLC. Does anyone know? Put it in the chat. I don't remember that, Dan.
I do remember that. But it wouldn't surprise me if I had to pay $40 for it or something stupid. So.
Yeah, I don't remember that. If we do, that's great. Cool.
Yeah.
Because I have that too. But we'll see more of that. That's expected still to release this year as well. So that's another big one. I don't know where the hell I'm going to get all this time, honestly. All right. Summer Game Fest. Anything else specifically on that one?
No.
Okay.
I like to see what Jeff Keighley's shoes are. That's about it. Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. What about before we go, someone just said BioShock 4 from Cloud Chamber that 2K is publishing. So not Ken Levine's game, right, Judas? But
isn't that game in development hell?
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
It's supposed to be, but we don't really know for sure, right?
We won't see it. I think that and Perfect Dark are pretty easy to check off of your list of probably not.
Perfect Dark. Oof. Yeah.
Development hell.
Well, moving to the Xbox Showcase, as we said, next week we'll be doing the show normal time just before the showcase, and then I'll try to jump in from the theater there while I'm there if I can, which would be cool. But Xbox teasing a couple things. Obviously, we know we're getting to 30 minutes on Starfield after the showcase directly as part of it. But a lot of teases this week, obviously, aligning with Fable. A lot of people think we're going to finally see Fable there.
Yes.
So which is really cool. I think Fable's one of my most anticipated games from kind of first party on the Xbox side. So looking forward to seeing hopefully what that looks like. But you think about what Xbox has in dev, right? So you think about the Avowed, you think about Hellblade 2, you think about Project Mara, Forza obviously is going to be there. We know. You think about games like Everwild or
what is that though? Is that a real game?
I don't even think they know what it is.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? From a first party perspective, Hellblade 2, right? What's kind of your most anticipated Xbox showing here? Is it something new? Are you looking for new IP? Or are you looking to see more of these announcements they had a couple years ago?
I mean, I guess Avowed has the most promise.
And that's my most anticipated game from Xbox first party is Avowed, personally. Why do you say most promise? Just because of Obsidian and kind of like their chops at making an RPG in that vein?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to get into Pentiment, and I didn't really love the Outer Worlds, but they clearly have writing chops. And
you weren't able to get into it, or you didn't start it, like you didn't try it. Pentiment.
No, I've played it. I've played the first bits of it a number of times. It's just it's way too broad for my enjoyment.
Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
Really? Broad?
Oh, I was talking about Pentiment.
Oh, yeah. No, Pentiment, I just wasn't able to get into.
Like you didn't play it, or you didn't?
No. I was able to turn the game on,
Okay.
I wasn't able to enjoy it for much time.
Oh wow, that's too bad. It's a good one.
Kestrel says, would Fable even be good these days? And I think that's what some of us are so interested in seeing, right? Is we're not talking about like Fable 1, right? We're trying to see what Fable looks like in 2023, 2024. From
your guess is as good as mine as to what Playground Games does with an English countryside fairy tale RPG.
What do you mean?
After making Forza Horizons.
Well, they're a racing game company.
No, they're not.
Well, they have been.
No.
What have they made?
Here we go.
They've made CarPGs.
Oh, for God's sakes.
The only difference between a Fable game, by the way, one of their CarPGs takes place in the English countryside, in what I would describe as fantastical universe with hardcore RPG mechanics that are super well thought out. They are an RPG company, and they make really good RPGs. I really don't think it's that big of a stretch.
You just see the bridge between Forza Horizon and Fable really easily.
I do. I really do. And I think that people who don't see it are tending to put Forza Horizon games in a box of, it's just a car game, because they're not just a car game. They are car games, but they're also pretty elaborate RPGs with quest lines and dialogue options and stories and
I mean, elaborate's going a bit far, but I mean, I can see
the
it.
RPG systems.
Yeah,
they're ridiculously elaborate. They're actually they are. Are they not? Have you played a Forza game?
Yes,
they have like a lot of like advanced RPG mechanics. That's part of the reason they're so addictive, those games.
Man, we have different definitions of advanced, I think. Also,
I really like Horizon, but I don't think the mechanics of build growth or anything like that are terribly in depth.
I like that we've gotten to the point in the episode where Travis has picked this topic to make a stand.
This is a weird one.
This is my favorite time every week.
I have a hard time. I just don't understand why it's that big of a stretch. I really don't.
What story would you hang your hat on in the Horizon franchise?
Yeah. The Lego thing.
Yeah, like that's the other thing I was going to point out is that they have expansions that are also fantastical. Whether it's the Lego one or the Hot Wheels one that they did, like they're good at being goofy. Fable's a goofy game, right? They're good at RPG mechanics. Fable's an RPG. They're British, and they've made stuff take place in the English countryside. Forza Horizon 4, right?
They've made stuff take place in the English countryside.
I see lots of commonalities. I don't think it's that big of a stretch. People are like, they just made a car game, and now they're making.
I think the game's going to be great. Playground is very talented, but I think your connection between the two games here, you're drawing much too big of a bridge.
Yeah.
Since the chat loves it, I do have to point out that Travis did not coin car RPG just now.
I did not. That is a real thing.
I heard that first, I think, in association with like maybe The Crew.
Test Drive Unlimited.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Yeah.
All I'll say is that Playground Games, aside from the fact that they've worked on Forza Horizon almost exclusively, is one of the most reliable developers in the industry right now.
I can agree with you.
They have a ton of talent, and I think that that combined with the people they've onboarded and the tools that they have with the acquisition and the legacy they have, a lot of former Lionhead Studios people on their team now. I really, really think
they're a stacked studio. 100%.
They are 100%. And I think people underestimate what they've already shown they can do in terms of RPGs. And if I could go as a bridge way too far and possibly invalidate my entire argument in doing so, but it's worth it.
Moving to Rainbow Road. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say Fable 3 ended at the end of an industrial revolution in the Fable universe. So Fable 4, maybe they have cars now, and sky's the limit. Got my little Fable guy hopping in a car, driving around, going to a festival of some kind.
Mistake.
No.
If I see the main character get in a car and drive around, I'm gonna be pissed.
If I see the main character get in a car, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, let's play some Forza Horizon, baby. Let's do it up. Let's go. Let's go.
You just hear a song from Churches start.
Yeah. They should at least.
God.
Can we agree? If they go the route, which I don't think they will, I think it'll be a full reboot. It'll be like a full fantasy game. But if they do go the route of like sticking with the Industrial Revolution, there better at least be like a radio you can tune in to get like Forza, the what is it called, the channel, the festival music or whatever. There needs to be a radio.
Yeah, whatever you want. I usually listen to Pulse.
Oh, Pulse was goated. I'll say I'm very disappointed that after 3 you can't create your own like Spotify playlist and make
that was such a cool feature.
That was so damn cool. And the fact that wasn't in 4 and 5 actually breaks my heart. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I weirdly enough, I always listen to the classical station. I always have like the freaking piano playing while I'm cruising on.
That's really cool. I'll take that. I do it sometimes. I switch it up.
I listen to Pulse and Bass the most, I think. Horizon is a great feel better about yourself type game. It's party in a box. I love Horizon.
Yeah. Silkenet says horse drifting coming to Fable.
That cracked me up a little bit.
Fable's kind of also that though, Hoeg. I'm going to draw a parallel there. I think Fable's also kind of a fantasy party in a box.
I don't love the Fable series. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've never been able to view that environment as realistic enough to care about. So I've just never enjoyed it that much.
Fable is not my favorite franchise. And when people say things like, oh, I don't know if the people who made Forza Horizon can live up to the writing pedigree of the Fable franchise, I laugh because I'm like, bro, the writing pedigree has not been great and the comedy is not that great in the Fable games. And they're fun games, but to me, they're like fantasy parties in the box. They're just silly and goofy and you kind of have fun. And to me, that fits perfectly with what the Playground Games team has already been doing. And I think that the bar is pretty low in terms of comedy chops and writing. And I think they're going to knock it out of the park. I'm very excited.
I think they're going to crush it too. I
do agree that the bar is pretty low. So you've convinced me there.
We can all agree on that.
People act like they're like these iconic games. And I'm like, they're good games by and large.
Good. Iconic is a strong word.
Really good. Yeah. Iconic, I don't think they got there. And I think they did a lot of cool, interesting experimentation. But I think this is going to be the best Fable game. And I think it's not really even going to be close, to be honest.
Probably right.
Yeah. By the way, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like. Certainly. We have nothing but that teaser trailer.
Agree. True. Giselle says, I double-checked. Last year they announced anyone who bought the Cyberpunk Xbox with the DLC will be reimbursed with Xbox credit before launch. There you go, Dan. You remembered well. So you're going to get credit on the Xbox store where you can just buy the expansion.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Because remember, they sold the Cyberpunk Xbox One X, and the expansion's not even coming to the Xbox One X. You can't play it on the Xbox One X. It has to be a series console.
That makes sense. Yeah, but I mean, I guess you're right. Yeah, that would make sense.
Because remember, it's the console that it holds the license when you sign in with that console.
So wait a minute now. So then if I know my son has that, I don't know if I still have that or not. To be honest with you, it's not linked to your account.
I think the credit will be linked to your account. That's the point. They had to take it off of the console, so it's linked to your account.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. What about you think we get a release date for Hellblade 2?
Yes.
I have trouble caring about that as much as Xbox seems to want me to. I
like Hellblade 2.
I liked Hellblade fine, but it was a high-end indie game thing that I played once. It was like, that was fun. Not anything I can get excited about the sequel for.
Really? Wow. That's what I'm very excited about that one.
I can't disagree more, Hoeg. Like indie studios that have a ton of talent getting budget and support that they need to make experiences that are that were far beyond their grasp previously. What's not to be excited about?
Well, I mean, I saw this company make Heavenly Blade, right? I was not impressed by their AAA game the last time they gave it a run.
Heavenly Sword?
Heavenly Sword, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
Hellblade was, again, fine. Nobody has convinced me other than, wow, that facial tech looks pretty cool, to say, oh, I'm excited about this Hellblade again game. So
yeah, I'd like to see like better combat, maybe, or the story I thought was fine.
Did you really like Hellblade, Travis?
What's that?
Did you just really connect with Hellblade?
I did. I love that game.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was bizarre.
Thought it was okay.
It made me scared. It made me feel like I was going insane.
I mean, you could
Did you play with headset?
Yes, I was told.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it had like a little thing at the front, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it did. Now you could tell where they had to cut corners being a smaller team, right? Some of the enemies were repeated, the combat was pretty generic, but I think as a concept and world, they did fantastic. And to think what Travis is saying, like, is seeing them take the time and the money and the resources to really build upon that mythology and that world could be truly special. That's what I'm hoping. I think that's what many of us are hoping for, right?
I wish they hadn't I wish they didn't get acquired, but I'm happy that teams. We talked about this before. I don't think that teams that are in that size should get acquired because that's where all the creativity and experimentation comes from. And I think some studios get acquired before their time, before they're ready for it. Activision Blizzard is ready to get swallowed up, but like Bungie, nah. Ninja Theory,
right? But I mean,
not yet.
I mean, it's all conjecture or speculative, right? But we may not be getting the Hellblade 2 that we're going to get if it weren't for Xbox, right?
Oh, you're 100% right. We wouldn't. But I think that you can grow a studio organically. And, I want studios to get absorbed when they're like single A or double A. But when they're at that point where they're at peak creativity and they're doing things that no other studios do, I don't think that's the time you sell the company. I think you wait until it kind of becomes more of a widget factory, and then you sell it to somebody who wants the IPs and all that. But in Ninja Theory's case, they're a bit of an exception because they had said themselves that they couldn't work on the projects that they wanted to work on because they were leasing themselves as basically like developers for hire for other studios, and they were kind of chained to their desks that way. So I think it was probably the right choice for them. I'm not criticizing their decision. I hate to see companies get acquired when they're in their prime. Or when they're prime, it seems like maybe might just be around the corner. Because saw it happen with Bungie. I think Ninja Theory could have been an amazing independent studio. We just need more like independent studios. Like Bethesda was the last, kind of in that middle ground. I mean, even they're kind of big that when they got acquired. But
they were. I mean, they're a publisher.
I know. I think we need more independent studios that are in that weird experimental.
I mean, there are a lot of them popping up. So another one.
Yeah, but now they're getting bought. Now they're getting bought when they're so small. It's really bothering me. PlayStation's buying studios before they even have games out. It's crazy. Why are you doing that? Just let them be weird for a little bit,
Well, just a counterpoint, but let's not forget that Ninja Theory also made Bleeding Edge, which died in like less than a year. So
yes,
they experimented
post-acquisition, I believe, when they did that.
It was
they've been working on it before.
90% complete.
Because I went to their.
Because I talked to the director, they had already finished. Like the game was on show when they got acquired at that thing.
Yeah, I get it. But DMC,
what?
Devil May Cry.
Yeah. What about
best Devil May Cry game out there? DMC.
Yeah. You fighting for DMC now?
Hell yeah, I'm fighting for DMC. That game, I ride or die with that game. That game slaps, bro.
Did you hear there's a new one coming out in a few weeks with a Final Fantasy name on it?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the crap out of that, and then I'm gonna send pictures to Hoeg of me, peeing on his tombstone.
I don't want any more Travis pictures on my phone.
Yeah. You don't want any more? You already have Travis pictures on your phone? You said more. That was the operative word there. You all catch that?
Yeah. They're in that hidden folder.
That was crazy.
Oh, man.
So Avowed for Hoeg is what I'm hearing is most anticipated. What's your most anticipated Xbox game, guys?
State of Decay 3.
Yeah, you think we'll see it?
Yep.
Of course.
Nope.
Yeah, I actually do think we'll see that one.
Really? I hope so, because I'm super pumped for that one. Anything else that we've seen so far, aside Avowed, maybe? I know we're getting. Isn't there like a Forza and a Starfield like separate kind of thing?
So Forza is going to be shown during the conference briefly, but then they do a monthly Forza live stream,
right?
Every month normally. The Tuesday after that Sunday, I think June 13th, the Forza monthly live stream is going to be all about Forza Motorsport, where they're going to walk through the career mode, the single player mode.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, they didn't want to take that time during the showcase
to
spend 10 minutes on Forza, so they're going to do it. Yeah, I think that's the right move, right? Show a little clip to get you excited, give us the release date, right? And then say, if you want to check out the details of single player, tune in Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like that approach a lot. I'm pumped for it. That's probably, Avowed being an RPG from Obsidian's probably my most anticipated, but Forza is right there next to it for me.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, boys. So we'll see. Next week will be fun. I'm excited. I fly into LA on Friday, and Xbox Showcase, and then Ubisoft is doing a showcase. They said live from LA, which is kind of weird. So I'm kind of seeing what they're going to be doing in that vein or where, because they kind of kept details scarce. But they're having their show on Monday, June 12th, at same time as Xbox, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central European time.
Can I interrupt
they said
to cause trouble?
Say it again.
Can I interrupt to cause some trouble?
You want to interrupt to cause trouble? Sure, go for it.
Yeah. So Ains is going to Los Angeles for the show, which I think it would only be appropriate if we as a Bitcast community made a thing out of that. So I would like to call upon all of our lovely listeners and fans to start a hashtag to get Ains to eat a scooped bagel while he's in LA. And I want him to take photos of it or maybe record a video of it. But I need your help, fans. This won't happen without the peer pressure that I need. I need you guys to say, Ains, eat a scooped bagel. Once, as a collective voice, if we all rise up, we can bring this.
I'm pretty sure he'll just do it if you ask him.
I think we can get this to happen, guys.
Rise up like the dough that is scooped out of it.
Yes, I want him to eat a scooped bagel while he's here. And I think together, strong. Ape together, strong.
Or grab a bagel from like Hy-Vee over here and just scoop out the stuff and throw some stuff in it. And then
no, he needs to do it in LA. He needs to do it. He needs to do it in the native land of the scooped bagel. Yeah. Guys, we can do this.
If I ask people, will they actually know what I'm talking about? Or
no, they already don't.
Look at me like I'm crazy.
What is a scooped bagel? And then
people are asking what scooped bagels are. Okay, so
Travis
scooped
just
bagels
makes this up entirely. You're gonna go in.
Yeah, for all you guys know, I could make this up. I just want to make it clear.
This is Tal's response.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Tal. I agree with you, and I have also never eaten a scooped bagel. It's not like a thing normal people do. Let's just say that. But for those asking what a scooped bagel is, it is one of those California diet things where we insist on eating healthy in California. I know it's weird. It's foreign to other states.
Nothing says health like the crust of the bagel.
Yeah.
Exactly. But some people have taken it a little too far where they want their cake, but they only want to eat the outsides of it, apparently. And in this case, there's a movement for scoop bagels where they will cook a bagel and then the person will scoop out the inside and then put cream cheese on it and then eat it. And the idea is that you're getting to eat a bagel, but you're cutting out like 60-70% of the carbs.
So wait a minute. Is it just
because
like
people are carb conscious here?
The bottom of it, or like
it's
both sides of it? If you
cream cheese,
it's basically the crusts and then cream cheese. That's but like the idea is it's for people who are watching their carbs, but it's a very California thing, and I think it's atrocious. Like if you're health conscious, just do not eat a bagel. Like that's the correct answer there. I'm sorry, you have to give this one up, guys, if you're trying to be health conscious. But there you go.
All right.
That's it.
And why not just snip the bagel?
and I want Ains to eat one. I want Ains to eat one while he's here. I think we can do it, guys.
You didn't provide the people with a hashtag. What are you thinking? Hashtag scooped Ains? What?
I love that. Scooped Ains is great. It sounds vaguely sexual, and I'm in favor of it. I think scooped Ains is good. Hashtag scooped Ains.
The best part is if you picture that on Twitter, it's gonna look like Scoop Danes, or like people won't know what the hell.
You gotta capitalize somewhere. We gotta get going.
Good job, guys.
What the hell is a Scoop Danes?
It'll be Scoopy Danes.
Scoopy Danes. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
There you go.
There it is.
There we go. That's Travis's thought for the day. And then we will don't even know how to transition from that. On Monday, we get Ubisoft Forward the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, 7 Central European time. You got me all thrown off now. Ubisoft has said we're going to see Assassin's Creed Mirage, obviously, Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, The Crew Motorfest, and more. I would assume we'll see like Division Heartland. And what's to come of that. They have that other shooter. What's that other shooter they've been promoting in betas? That's like Call of Duty mixed with what the hell is it called? I can't remember. X Factor or something like that.
It's a Rainbow Six thing, right? Or not Rainbow Six.
They call it Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy. It's a Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Tom Clancy's
X-Defiant. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Tom Clancy's cartoon Pew Pew.
Jamboree.
It reminds me of Jamboree. Yeah, it's like it sounds like a Disney ride.
Yeah, X-Defiant. So we'll see. I mean, Ubisoft, the other thing that honestly, I have not thought of this since whenever the last 10 months ago we talked about it, but we're probably going to see Skull and Bones.
Oh, for God's sakes. Just let it die.
No, it's got to get another release date that it'll miss.
Oh.
As soon as I thought of it this morning, I'm like, oh my God, we're going to see Skull and Bones again for the 6th year?
Well, they can show another rendered commercial for Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's definitely coming out. That's definitely
dead. Like truly dead. I thought that was killed off.
No, it hasn't been officially, but I think it was.
I don't think it ever was.
Yeah, true. Fair.
I think it was a project, but I think Ubisoft quietly put a pillow over its face while it was, resting up for the big fight ahead.
Dutch, what's up, Dutch? He said they removed the Tom Clancy name from X-Defiant. Okay, so
that's nice.
Okay. Yeah,
Tom Clancy, you made
it.
It's
just X-Defiant now. No Tom Clancy.
It's pretty defiant of them to remove.
I got into that one of the outfits or whatever. I played one match and I uninstalled it. I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
They call that Skull and Bonesing.
No, because I actually played I guess I played Skull and Bones too in 2018 when it was three games ago.
We all played that game in person at E3, and then we were like, wow, this needs some work because it's basically just Assassin's Creed. And then they were like,
it was literally feedback. Black Flag without the Assassin's Creed.
And they're like, all right, we've taken your feedback. We will now work on it more for 9 more years. We'll see where we stand after that.
Well, on the Assassin's Creed side, I do think Mirage looked very good in the PlayStation Showcase.
It did.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
They'll definitely show that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to kind of add. Like, I like that they've gone back to Mirage or gone back to the style that fans were hoping for with that, right? And they also said we're going to see the Jade project of Assassin's Creed. Because remember, they have like 4 Assassin's Creed projects in the works. Where does Ubisoft go? Because they've been on the downturn in terms of, they're literally market cap value, but it feels like they've kind of been all over the place with actually game delivery. If Assassin's Creed Mirage hits and sells well, reviews well, critically, commercially, do you think Ubisoft takes a step back and says, maybe we need to get back to what the hell we got famous for? Because it seems like they've just been all over the place for the past 7 years.
I don't think they wind back Assassin's Creed. No, I think they might separate into stealth Assassin's Creed and RPG Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
I don't think they're going to ditch RPG.
No. I meant Ubisoft as a whole, not Assassin's Creed. Like their approach to game delivery, right? Because it feels like they got into that experimentation phase. They've started a bunch of projects. We were just saying X-Defiant's been in development for years now in tests, and Skull and Bones is a disaster. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a disaster. It feels like they were trying to kind of spread out and do new things, but it's failed them. Splinter Cell is another one. They finally told us that's coming back after 10 years of fans begging for it, but do you think we see a tease of that?
No.
I think we might see a tease, a logo.
Just crushing me.
Cutscene.
No, and I Ubisoft games I like more than some, especially in this space that talk about games a lot. So, I think we're about in time to see a teaser for Far Cry 7. I think the Avatar game is something that they could potentially make some bank on, but releasing it in the only year to not have an Avatar movie is an odd choice. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what they're planning there. Well, there's
like a decade
Avatar movie last year, and there's going to be an Avatar movie next year. They're releasing it between those movies is somewhat odd.
Got to keep the momentum going, man.
You think it's going to be good? What's your bet? Frontiers
I think
of
it's going to be good.
I hear it's going to be good. Yeah,
I would love it to be good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Good things.
I don't know.
I've heard good things from people who played it.
Okay. And the Crew Motorfest is basically Ubisoft's attempt at Forza Horizon now. It looks very in that vein when they showed it. That's where they're trying to drive that franchise towards. Can they succeed? Who knows? The Crew generally hasn't been very good, in my opinion. Whereas Forza Horizon has been stellar. So
I like the Crew 1 more than I like the Crew 2. So.
Yeah.
Seemed like The Crew 2 was their attempt at that, and they just didn't.
I reviewed both of those games.
Succeed.
Was
a sequel for Immortals Phoenix Rising ever confirmed?
I don't think so.
No, Immortals is great, but I don't know if we're going to get a sequel.
But you think about that game, right? That's a new IP that they created, one of the very successful ones. Critically did very well, apparently did well commercially. You would think if they were going to pick a new IP to kind of capitalize on or continue with, that would have been the one. But
yeah, they'll make it into a live service game or something.
It already was.
Mobile game. So I don't know. We'll see. But should be a good time. I'm trying to see what that what is going on with Ubisoft actually in LA and what they meant by that. Like, are they inviting people, press, etc.? So trying to find that out.
Are you sure they meant Los Angeles and not Louisiana? They are French.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
true.
That's a good one, Hoeg. That was quick.
But anyway, anything else you guys we want to see from these shows or hoping for or would like to see before we kind of close out on the show topic?
I want to see them announce Child of Light 2.
Child of Light was amazing. I love Child of Light.
Was amazing. Super underrated game, and we need a sequel. We deserve a sequel. Deserved it.
Yeah. Seems like that the Ubisoft, it was one of those like not an EA originals, but they had that art division that used to make the games under the Ubisoft label. I don't know if they're still doing those, are they?
Because it was Child of Light and it was like that Dog at War one, right?
Yeah, the Russian war, I believe, or Ukrainian war. Not the current one, but the War of Mine. This War of Mine.
Not the current.
No. There was a.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, This War of Mine is an indie game.
Are you talking about the Valiant Hearts? The World War
Valiant
I?
Hearts. Okay.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Sorry,
there was a dog.
I mixed it up.
There was a dog.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that, but I would love to see another Child of Light game. That game was the battle mechanics and everything, the art style, the music, excellent game.
Yeah, the sequel I believe is being made by Netflix to Valiant Hearts. I think they got
more Mario tactical strategy games. Come on, Ubisoft.
Maybe an expansion for that? Sparks of Hope?
That'd be nice.
I mean, I think there's an expansion.
I didn't finish that game.
I think they sold an expansion pass thing, so I think that's got to be coming up.
Okay. I actually, no joke, I just got that game the other day. I got a copy from GameFly. It just arrived like 2 days ago. So
it's very good.
Cool. All right, boys. I think that's going to do it for this week. Like I said, next week, same time, same place. And we'll obviously be talking about all the showcase stuff and kind of work out the plans there. I think from a season gaming side, like we said, we're about to hit 20K on the channel. Please check that out if you haven't. That would be appreciated. You can find my Diablo review and my Diablo build guide to Druid currently up on the site and the channel as well. If you support those, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all the support so far. And then, I will be in LA next weekend and hanging out with a bunch of the content creators on the Xbox side and some other people I'm meeting up with. So I will kind of update people on plans there for coverage, both live and kind of from there, and try to do what I can to share that experience because it's really fun. And I'm looking forward to catching up with everyone. So it should be a good time. Travis, what you got coming up, man?
Yeah, let me tell you guys what I worked on this week. I did a Diablo 4 review, which you can read on IGN.com. I previewed a game called... Wait, is it the embargo up yet? Okay, I previewed 3 games. 2 of them I can talk about, definitely. Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, which is the first CRPG to take place in the Warhammer universe, made by the developer that worked on the Paizo Pathfinder video games, which some nerds like myself are fans of. And I also previewed The Expanse, the new Telltale game that's coming up.
Looking forward to that.
I did episode 1 on that, so you can read that on IGN.com. And then I'm just going to really quickly in real time see if I can talk about the third one because I'm most excited about that one. I cannot. Great. I cannot talk about
next
that.
week.
Well, I'll be able to talk about it next week for sure.
Okay.
Wait, June 13th. The embargo.
Nope, not next week. 2 weeks.
Week after that. Damn it. Okay, that's hella far away. And then also I want all of you guys to read my story that goes live tomorrow about the Tears of the Kingdom speedrunning community, because it's maybe the thing I'm most proud to have written. So it was very fun doing that. You can read that tomorrow on Egan.com. That's what Alexa says. I'll be like, Alexa, who's Travis Northup? I'll just like test her to see if she knows who I am using the internet, and she'll be like, Travis Northup is a reviewer and writer on Egan.com. That's what she says. I'm like, almost right, Alexa. Good job.
You're just walking around your apartment doing ego searches through Alexa.
Yeah. That's what I do. That's me. That's my life.
Nice. All right, sir. Hoeg, shout it out.
Yeah, well, we're going to continue the run on Lawyers and Dragons next Saturday, and we might or might not have videos between now and then. Either way, I'll be playing Diablo, probably dying a lot, and they'll make fun of me for being casual.
We will.
I'll casual with you, buddy. I will casual with you.
I'm here to help with the bar build. Honestly, I'm here to help.
I just start a druid and take your article and just go straight through it. I don't know.
You could. I am going to make one on Barb as well. I'm
playing with your Barb build, but I will chastise you and make fun of you for your choices.
Pampa, a regular here who I play with all the time, he's doing Barb as well, and I've been kind of walking him through some of the stuff on that. And he had a great increase in success from launch to last night. So I will help.
Did you say Barb B?
Yeah, thanks for watching Season Gaming.
Anyway, we'll be back next Sunday, same time, same place. Thank you, as always, everyone, our listeners and viewers. Even if you're not live with us here, we greatly appreciate it. Remember, Hoeg is in charge next week, so keep an eye on him. Make sure he does things properly. I'm sure Travis will try to throw him for a loop, which will be fun. And I will try to stop it and give you a live look at the Xbox Theater before the showcase starts. So we'll see. Hopefully I can do that. Until then, have a good week of gaming. Enjoy some Diablo, some Street Fighter, whatever you may be playing, and we will see you next week. Peace.